Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Thrive in 5 podcast. Today's episode is a big one, especially if you actually do quite like the idea of exercise. You want to be doing it, but you struggle to actually stick to it. Here is the truth. Even if you love a certain type of workout, if you love a spin class or Pilates or long runs, if it doesn't fit your life, it is not going to happen consistently. And that doesn't mean you're uncommitted. It just means your routine might need a rethink. I reached a point in my training journey, and I talked a little bit about this yesterday, where I actually really enjoyed going to a certain gym class. It was great. It was such a good class. I really enjoyed it. But to do that class, it was basically at a boot camp class at a studio that was near my office. To do that class, I had to leave work at a particular time, and that was really, really hard for me to do the majority of the time because my job in that role, I was working as a chief of staff, and I was kind of at a whim of my boss a little bit. Like if she needed me for something, I'd end up being in the office late. And I booked onto and cancelled that class so many times and got so many late fees. If it doesn't fit around your routine, it's never going to work. So many professional women that I speak to, whether they are clients, whether I speak to them on Instagram, they are trying to squeeze exercise into a life that's already bursting at the seams. Like, you're not lazy. You're just full. Your diary's full. Your brain is full. Your day is full. Most workout plans, whether they are like fitness classes or PTs or coaches online or fitness influencers or whoever it is, they don't take account for any of that stuff. They are written like you have unlimited time, energy, recovery capacity, zero responsibilities, which, let's be honest, it's ridiculous. The more I think about it and the more I talk to people about it, the more stupid I think it is when I see people posting their fitness routine being like, well, I train 5 times a week and do the Stairmaster every day, so you can too. That is very, very unrealistic for 99.999% of people, and particularly for professional women. When it comes to the way that I think about helping a client with their workout routine and working out what's going to work for them, there are a few major lifestyle factors that I always consider when I'm programming for them, when we're working together to figure out the right program for them. And I thought I would share this with you today because it will give you a little bit of stuff to think about. The first thing that I always ask about is what your work schedule looks like. If you are someone who has days packed with back-to-back meetings, if you're working long hours, if you have minimal breaks, you're not going to be smashing 60-minute workouts 4 times a week. You'd be much better off with like short movement breaks, 15 to 20 minute strength sessions, lunchtime walks, a Peloton, something like that. Or with home workouts, or workouts that you can do in the gym before work quickly, things you can do with zero commute, zero prep, minimal fuss. That is what you're going to need if you are busier. That's something I'll always look at. What does your work schedule look like? Are you somebody who works from home all the time? Are you somebody who works in the office all the time? Something that I think does make the TFP and the More to Life program very different to other coaching programs is I've worked in the corporate world for a very long time, and I know that world inside out. My partner is in that world in a different industry. I see a lot of what he's up to as well, and I take a lot of my own experiences in the corporate world in terms of what's actually expected of you day to day when you work from home or when you don't, to make it realistic. I had a client who came to me once whose coach has said, well, given that you're working from home, you can obviously do a workout on that day and just go to the gym. And she was like, I'm working from home, I've not got a day off. Like, the two are different things. And I think for a lot of people in the fitness industry, they don't really get that. The next thing that I'll always think about and always ask about is actually your energy levels. Are you a morning person? Are you somebody who actually has a real burst of energy later in the day? If you're someone whose energy drops off a cliff by 6 p.m, stop forcing a 7 p.m. workout in. Movement after work for someone like that might look like going for a walk before dinner. It might look like what we call the fake commute, where you go for a walk from working from home for a little bit. If you're someone who's better in the mornings, could we actually shift your bedtime a little bit so you can get up earlier in the morning to go to the gym? If your energy is unpredictable, which for a lot of professional women when they first start working with me is the case, we don't really know where their energy is good or bad, we might look at low bar options you can fall back on, or playing around with some bits and pieces until we figure it out. There is no point trying to force yourself into a workout program that doesn't work for you. Like, for me, I am not somebody who can train in the evening. If I go to the gym after about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm out. It's never going to happen. I'm a morning gym person through and through. And when I was forcing myself to train later in the day because I thought that's what I needed to do, or because that was what worked for my schedule, it made things really, really challenging. So I actually shifted things around in terms of my personal life to mean that I could get to the gym earlier in the day because that was what worked best for me. The next thing I often focus on, I'll be honest, a lot of coaches ignore this. and it's a mistake. And that is your stress levels. If you are working a really high pressure job, your nervous system is already a bit fried. Adding intense like HIIT style training, boot camps on top of that without enough recovery will leave you feeling drained and feeling burnt out. I will often check in with people around not just like what they are, how stressed they're feeling, but also other factors, how's sleep, how's digestion, how your hormones, how's your periods, how your moods and energy levels and all of those things. So I can understand actually what is going on from a physiological stress standpoint. A lot of professional women like the idea of HIIT workouts because it's like, oh, it's quick and it's efficient. But if it's adding to your stress levels and it's making you less healthy, it is not doing what it needs to be doing. Often, the smartest thing you can do is scale back and focus on being consistent with lower intensity movement or alternating high and low intensity across the week, or actually just training less and making sure that when you do train, you are really giving it your all, but you are having time away from that. The next thing that I will ask about is the reality of the time you have available. Not your ideal week, not the one you'd love to have if everything was perfect, but the reality. Like, do you genuinely have time for long sessions a few times a week, or actually would shorter, more frequent workouts make sense? Are you somebody who needs flexibility right now, or are you craving more structure? Are you somebody who actually has really loads of time at the weekends, but during the week you are fried? There is no right answer to any of this stuff. It's only about what's right for you. But the amount of times that I've had clients join the program, and this is why I've changed a lot of what we do in response to this, where I've had clients join the program and I'll say, how many workouts a week can you do? And they're like, I can do 5 workouts a week. And I've looked at it and gone, that seems like a lot, but okay, because when I was a younger, less experienced coach, I would often kind of let clients dictate that stuff. And then within like a week, they've not been able to do it because it's not doable. And people feel like they should be able to do that amount of training, when actually the reality is that might not be what's best for you. And the best workout plan for you is one that you can stick to consistently, whether that is doing less some weeks and more other weeks, whatever it looks like for you. I'll be honest and say the majority of my clients do 2 or 3 workouts a week max. I have a lot of clients who will do 1 workout a week. I have some clients who maybe do more sometimes, but to be honest, 2 to 3 is probably the max that we get in from a workout perspective. There is zero shame in needing a routine that works around your life. In fact, it is the only thing that's actually sustainable. You don't get extra points for making it harder than it needs to be, as much as you might feel like you do. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. When you build your routine and your reality, build your routine around your reality, you're being strong. It's not a weakness. You are being strong and you are being realistic. It is wise. It is brave. If you have been struggling to make it work, start by asking, what is realistic for me right now? Start from there and then build. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a Q&A episode. So if you've got any questions, obviously pop them onto my Instagram story. The box is up there. And I've also got something really exciting launching this weekend that's going to help you figure all of this out with way less trial and error for free. You won't want to miss it. I will see you back here tomorrow.